Here are the important characters of the story. Aeneas, the protagonist of the Aeneid. Aeneas is a survivor of the siege of Troy, a city of the coast of Asia Minor. He is a fearsome warrior and a leader able to motivate his men in the face of adversity, but also a man capable of great compassion and sorrow. Dido, the Queen of Carthage, a city in northern Africa in what is now Tunisia, and lover of Aeneas. Dido left the land of Tyre when her husband was murdered by Pygmalion, her brother. She and her city are strong, but she becomes an unfortunate pawn of the gods in their struggle for Aeneas' destiny. Her love for Aeneas proves to be her downfall after he abandons her. She constructs a funeral pyre and stabs herself upon it with Aeneas' sword. Turnus, the ruler of the Rutulians in Italy. Turnus is Aeneas' major antagonist among mortals. He is Lavinia's leading suitor until Aeneas arrives. This rivalry incites him to wage war against the Trojans, despite Latinus' willingness to allow the Trojans to settle in Latium and Turnus' understanding that he cannot successfully defy fate. Juno, the queen of the gods, the wife and sister of Jupiter, and the daughter of Saturn. Juno, Hera in Greek mythology, hates the Trojans because of the Trojan Paris' judgment against her in a beauty contest. She is also a patron of Carthage and knows that Aeneas' Roman descendants are destined to destroy Carthage. She takes out her anger on Aeneas throughout the epic, and in her wrath acts as his primary divine antagonist.
Latinus, the king of Latins, the people of what is now central Italy around the Tiber River. Latinus allows Aeneas into his kingdom and encourages him to become a suitor of Lavinia, his daughter, causing resentment and eventually war among his subjects. He respects the gods and fate, but does not hold strict command over his people.
Lavinia, Latinus' daughter and a symbol of Latinum in general. Lavinia's character is not developed in the poem. She is important, only has the object of the Trojan-Latin struggle. The question of who will marry Lavinia, Turnus or Aeneas, becomes key to future relations between the Latins and the Trojans. Tiberius, the river god associated with the Tiber River, where Rome will eventually be built. At Tiberius' suggestion, Aeneas traveled upriver to make allies of the Arcadia.
After the Trojan War had ended, Aeneas and other Trojan survivors left the fallen city of Troy and set out new lands. They landed on Thrace but found it is a dangerous place, full of murder, and so continued. Aeneas was told in a dream that the new home destined for them was a country far away to the west. Italy in his days called Hesperia.
Aeneas in dream where he saw the gods telling him to settle in Italy, paying heed to the advice and meal set out to eat to live. The next day, while sailing to Italy, he and his men encountered many dangers. They battled the Harpies and Cyclops. After quite a dangerous journey, the group eventually landed safely on the island Sicily, where they planned to settle meanwhile on Olympus. The gods had heard of prophecy from the fates that the nation Prince Aeneas would build would one day defeat and destroy the city of Carthage now. Carthage was the favorite city of the mother goddess Juno, so in an effort to save the city and thwart Aeneas' plans, Juno commanded the winds to drive na Aeneas' ship of course, but to her utter dismay he landed in the countryside near Carthage. Coincidentally, Aeneas and his men were brought before the queen of Carthage, whose name was Dido, upon setting her eyes on Aeneas.
Queen Dido immediately fell down to him. She offered her hospitality to Aeneas. Aeneas told Queen Dido about his survival and escape from Troy, that he and his men wandered for 7 years searching for a new home. They traveled from Thrace to Crete and to Sicily. As they attempt to reach the mainland, they were blown off course and finally landed in Carthage. By this time in the story, Queen Dido and Aeneas realized they had fallen in love with each other. However, the gods insisted that Aeneas continued his journey to Italy. Being loyal servant of the god, Aeneas obliged thus the sailed off, leaving dead her behind. Queen Dido was greatly saddened and she committed suicide. Finally arrived in Italy, Aeneas went to the temple of Apollo and asked for guidance. There, Apollo told Aeneas that he had to enter the underworld, find his father, and ask his advice. So, Aeneas set out alone on a mission to the underworld. He endured many dangers until he was eventually able to cross the Charon River and reach Hades. There, Aeneas traveled through the underworld to the Elysian field, home of the blessed soul, where he was reunited with his father.
The spirit told Aeneas the history of Rome. He told of the wars Aeneas would fight and his destiny which would to Rome, ruling the world. When the story finished and motivated and freshly revitalized, Aeneas returned to the world of living and his ships reached Latium, a kingdom ruled by King Latinus, and the land destined to belong to the Trojans. Aeneas treated with care, he sent an envoy to the king with friendly messages.
King Latinus welcomed Aeneas and his men, and even offered his daughter Lavinia to enlist in marriage. Just when he thought all was going to be fine, and Juno arise again. She had not forgotten about Aeneas and the prophecy. Juno created chaos throughout Latium. She turned King Turnus of the Resilians against Aeneas, the people of Latium against the Trojans. It happens that Aeneas traveled to Phaeland, him to aid King, even death, and was unaware of the new situation in his absence. Turnus attacked the Trojans, returns to Troy, fought gallantly along his men, killed Turnus and won the battle. The Trojans emerged victory at last 10 years, and the Trojans were free to begin building their nation. Rome and the prophecy came to pass.